totally screw you up, Arm, if I could do everything I wanted to do in 6 months.
Yes, well, okay. That was that. This was this other thing. Um, right, okay. I was pretty sure that was that room. That's what I was looking for. Okay, okay. Yes, all right. With great effort and great work and great difficulty, you are finally able to find, and it involves sort of going into places that you might not want to go. Eventually, you have to swallow your pride, and you speak to Istival about it because you were taught. You
Yeah.
say, I need to figure out how to open it, and Istival kind of gives you this look like. But he ended up sending out for someone to help, and you knew only that you were told by Istival to meet this person at midnight under a full moon. This is about a month or two ago,
Alrighty.
and you did so. And this tall, hooded figure, whose face you could never quite see. You don't know whether it's just the way that they were kind of moving their body or what, but you could never quite see their face, came and sort of held out a hand, and you presented the box, and he turned around, and when he turned back to you, the box was open. And he handed it over to you, and you actually took it, and you sort of took a moment to kind of pump your fist and sort of dance in a circle, and by the time you got done with the circle, the robed figure was gone.
Mention door. I see what's going on here.
Yeah, and when you talked to Istival about it and went to thank him, Istival said, "I don't know what you're talking about," and sort of marched off.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
Yes, so you manage to open it, and you find a couple things. The first is, in this lockbox, you find an iron coin, and it is the same kind of iron coin that was used to unlock the iron safe in the Iron Axe halls. That's one of the
Great.
things. That's not the only
Yep.
thing.
Okay.
But you did actually find that. You also found a quartz gemstone that glows with a perpetual light. It seems to be lit by its own internal fire, equivalent in brightness to maybe like a candle flame or something like that. Oh, did we lose Cade?
Yeah, something happened there.
Sorry, you canceled out on me.
I had a connection issue just then with people.
Same.
Okay.
So I got the key. It's about a quartz crystal. That's where.
Yes, so it's a quartz gemstone that glows with a perpetual magical light. It's equivalent, and it's sort of like a brightness of like a candle flame, basically, is what it's like, and continues to glow repeatedly. It doesn't matter what you do to it; it glows all the time. So there's that. You also found a vial that was made from what looks like a hollowed out horn of some kind, but it's not a natural horn. It's not like a animal horn. It's some other sort of, and it makes you faintly feel uneasy, this thing. But there's a vial with a clear liquid inside it. You haven't had a chance to try it, but that exists.
Okay.
And then the last two things are, you found a burgundy velvet pouch in which were 45 electrum pieces
Right.
and a blue wax candle.
Huh.
And that's what you found.
45 electrum. I'll have to yield electrum. And a blue wax candle. Does it look like it's been burned, or does it look like new?
It looks new.
All right. Blue wax candle. Okay.
That's what you got.
Yep. All right. All right. Well,
So that was the total of your 6 months. It's just like,
well, if
yes.
it took that long, yes, but otherwise, I mean, shoot. If we had only had 6 months, I would try to get at least some of the group to go back to that room with all the pools to try and excavate the stuff that was in there. Things like that.
Yeah, going back to that was a little bit difficult, insofar as by the time you got back there, the crypts had been sort of dug over, and it turns out that apparently the Duke had ordered, because of what he had heard about the sort of evil contents of the place, he had ordered essentially the crypts covered over and sort of swept in. So you were not able to find an excavating team. Now, they say that at some point they'll be able to open them back up for you, but even Istival's influence was not enough to sway the Duke in this area. He made clear that he did not want waves of undead sweeping out and coming into the town. And so
Fine.
Yeah. ultimately he was forced to sort of back down that way.
Yeah, and then the other thing is to make sure that the dwarves that came to town know about what's happening to their cousins to the north, and that someone ought to go do something about that.
Yes, no, they definitely know that there is a problem there, and so they've been actually chatting. Both the dwarves from Iron Axe and out of Illafarn and outside of Illafarn have been speaking with each other for sure.
Okay, and one last thing, and I'll be done. If I can figure out, I don't know how to get these potions identified, because I have one vial of reddish gold liquid, another one of clear liquid, and the vial and the horn of clear liquid. And I'd like to find out what those are.
You can spend some gold to do that. If you're willing to spend about 50 gold, you can get that potion identified.
And Electrum are even worth less than. Yeah, well, I tell you what, I've got this big freaking fist-sized jade gem. I'm assuming that'll be doing right.
Yeah, you're able to fence that. That actually allows you to without telling the party.
Of course.
They don't
know I have that exactly.
Yeah, that allows you to make money, enough money that you're able to pay for things.
Okay.
And so you end up taking out the you end up getting enough money to be able to do it. And as you discover the different potions, now you've got how many did you say you had?
I have 3 now.
Okay. Describe what I described them as. I know what one of them is already, but
that's okay. One was a vial of reddish gold liquid. I think these 2 were both found in the Dwarven Keep.
Yep. Okay. The reddish gold liquid. Both of the reddish gold liquids ones are potions of healing. That are like standard potions of healing. The clear vial is a potion of invisibility.
Ooh, sweet!
Which is very valuable, and and you also were able to discover with that jade money, which this used up the money from the jade, by the way. But you were also able to discover that the vial that it was in was a hollowed-out devil's horn, which may explain a little bit why you're sort of uneasy when you look at it.
So, wait, does that mean I have 2 potions of invisibility? Is that correct?
That would, I guess, if you had one before.
Yes, I do. I had a clear liquid before, and I have this one as well.
Then you have 2. Yep.
Sweet. All right. I guess I'll just hang on to that. Well, that demon horn can probably be sold later on once I take it. Awesome. Okay. I'm good.
So there's that. Okay. Let us move on to Fing. What have you been doing over the interim 6 months?
I have taken a 6-month sabbatical into the woods and been trying to learn the ways of the druids, and in that time managed to kick my drinking habit.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Wow. I don't know what to make of this.
Shouldn't this be a start of something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Fing. Hi, Fing."
I have wronged you, and here's how.
I have a feeling he's going to be one of those insufferable sobers who's like, so let me tell you about the power of leaves, guys.
Yeah, I want to know what step he's on. Okay, all right. On you go. Awesome. That's good to know.
And that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just coming back, like, after, like I said, huge sabbatical. Just, I don't know if I can get anything out of this, but, like anything druidy, if that would enhance anything I have, anything like that. But, just been hanging out in the woods, trying to learn the ways. And
all right. Chat's reaction seems to be somewhere between stunned and skeptical. So
we'll see. We'll see. Don't worry about it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Solil, what have you been doing over the last 6 months?
Well, a lot of magical training, for one. Picked up a few utility spells I've been lacking in my blow up the world mentality. So I'm going to be able to identify things out in the field now, which will be nice. Okay. I'm also, since I got a little smarter via all that experience that we got, I'd like to learn another language if I can.
Yes, so what language have you chosen to learn?
Infernal.
Ah, so you have learned infernal language as you move ever closer to your own doom. Have you read the story Faust? No, I'm just kidding. It all starts with a bargain with the devil. Okay. Yes, that's fine. You're able to do that in the 6 months. You're able to do that. And one of the things that's interesting as you're going through this is, as expected, Istival spends his time in Daggerfall enjoying his retirement. You don't see or hear from him too much, although I've mentioned a couple of individual times where you've counted him. And I should mention that, by the way, Fing, when you first got out there to sort of, learn the ways of the druids, one of the things they mentioned to you was the circle of druids that you found said that under normal circumstances, they would never have allowed someone, quite frankly, with your background in history, they sort of said, to have been in, but they said that someone had intervened on your behalf and had said that you were someone to be trusted, and they told you that that was Istival. So you have no idea how he even knew that you were going out to do this. But
You've got a sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he's your sponsor. Yes, exactly.
Man, no. Do you know how bad that stuff is for you and how expensive it is? And you have no idea how many chemicals are in that monkey. No, just no. Can you find me a nice glass of water or perhaps some juice?
Who are you? We don't even know a thing with this.
I love it. What's up, Cyclone? And Salil, when you were trying to find a language, you actually did learn Infernal, and you learned it from someone who was sort of like the Rosetta Stone approach. You know, you kind of learned it quickly, but it's not like you can really be immersed in Infernal because, you know, to be immersed, you'd have to go to hell, and that wasn't sort of a good idea. So you chose not to do that. But the person who you took the lessons from seemed vaguely demonic themselves. I mean, they sort of had this kind of reddish skin and kind of the beard thing going on, the goatee, and it was a little strange. But they
I don't judge.
But they taught you, right? He taught you all the information you needed to know. And again, now finding someone to teach you Infernal would have been absolutely impossible under most circumstances because you would have had to go like deep underground to do it. I mean, underground is in like, you know, incognito, which would be difficult with your current fame. But rather than do that, you actually found someone very quickly after you started looking. And you pressed them at one point and said, you know, how is it I'm even being taught? Like, why are you able to do this? And he eventually managed to wring out of him. And the person who had suggested that he should teach you Infernal was Istival.
McSauce, suddenly vegan? I'm sober. I'm not a monster.
Awesome. So Istival was partly responsible for that as well.
That was freaking hilarious. Okay.
Anything else in them, or Salil, are you good?
I think that would be about a 6 months worth of study, learning a few new spells that are different from my normal path, and then a new language.
So you were surprised to learn how far-reaching Istival's network of friends is, as I've already indicated. Wherever you go, each of you always see strangers watching from a respectable distance. There's a guard. Sometimes you see a scruffy-looking Northman wearing a furred cloak, a trio of dour-looking dwarves smoking pipes, and so on. They would watch you and follow you, and whenever you seemed the least bit uncomfortable, they'd smile and wave, or they'd walk over and shake your hand and say, "A friend in Daggerford sends you his regards." It seems that no matter where you go, Istival's friends are watching your back, basically. But in the past week, you've seen no familiar faces, no friendly waves from strangers, no nods or winks from across the street, no free rounds of drinks. You can't help but think that something is up and the wind is about to change. Solio, you are off working on the intonation of a particularly difficult sentence construction. You're like, is it ach or lach? It's like, where is it on the second syllable or the third syllable? So you're off sort of practicing this in a room in the tavern, in a back portion of the tavern, as you often do. And then you notice someone coming up to you, and it's actually a young man with a bright smile. He's bundled in a gray fur cloak, and he doesn't seem put down by winter's cold bluster. "Greetings from a friend in Daggerford," he says. "I am Eldrin Hahn, Sir Istival's squire. My lord asked me to fetch you, although he didn't phrase it quite so rudely. He said it's a matter of great urgency concerning Dragonspear Castle." And Soliel, I'll give you a chance to make a intelligence check here.
Do you guys hear that name drop? Yeah. All right.
To make a intelligence check to see if you know what the heck Dragonspear Castle is.
Okay. Simple intelligence.
Yes, just intelligence.
Okay.
Thank you for the follow, Tanuki55.
Fing went to a D12 step program. Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
Done.
Okay. You know a couple things. You know, first of all, that Dragonspear Castle is one of the most feared ruins along the Sword Coast. You know that a human adventurer of dwarven stature, so a rather short human, named Daros Dragonspear built the castle over 300 years ago. The forces of good and evil fought many battles there, and today it's a haunted ruin. And you know that Daros was tricked into opening a portal to the 9 hells under the castle, and the portal is still there, sealed by ritual magic.
Oh, perfect.
So you
what
know
a good
all
time
of
to
those
learn
things.
Infernal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Good timing, right? And so he says, yes. So if you would be so kind as to go to see Sir Istival immediately, I'm sure he would appreciate it.
Sure he would.
He kind of looks at you.
Yeah, sorry, I was sod stuff. You say that last.
I'm also getting feedback. I think from you, John. I believe.
All right, well, that's pretty good. We're well into it.
And random question, Herb, I know this was kind of out there, but the druid stuff. I do have speak with animals and plant growth. Can I maybe get like and I don't use them, but an enhancement to those perhaps?
The
I'm trying to think of anything that would, kind of play into that.
yes. When that happens, yes. What you can actually say, just make a note on your sheet that you were inspired, specifically on the speak with animals side. And then when I actually, if there comes a point where you have a speak with animals thing, let me know that I mentioned that you were inspired, and I'll tell you what it does. Okay.
Okay.
Inspired.
I'm
I
still
refuse to believe that
sorry, John. I'm still getting the feedback. I
sober.
apologize.
What the heck?
Just deal with it. Just deal with it.
I won't believe until I see it. Because you've been
okay.
gone this whole time, so like I just think you've just gone off drinking and.
Hey,
How's that arm?
the druids have some heavy shit, man.
Okay, I think that's a little better. Well, maybe it is. I can't tell. Soliel, what's going on with you? This guy is looking at you still.
So he's wanting me to like go with him to the.
Yeah, I'm still getting the feedback, John. Do you have your headphones in or something, or do you do, right?
I do, but that's why this is coming in. Why is it still me? I guess I'll take it all the way down. That's weird.
Check 2. I think it's you. I mean, I'm sorry, and hold on that thought.
Hang on. You know what? Let me do this.
Yeah, it is.
You guys hear too, right? Is it just me, or there was some like?
I could hear it. Yeah.
I don't hear it now. So yeah, it's not there anymore. So it's something on your side, Cade.
So still going on.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It sounds like it's like bleeding through. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm just letting you know that it's there. Go to hell and kill Diablo for you, Tanuki. I'm sure they'll get right on that to be able to do that. So back to you, Salil.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Okay, so I just need a little bit of clarification. He's wanting me to go meet with his master right now, right?
Yeah, well, and the rest of the he's like, and he's asked for all of you to meet him, the heroes of Daggerford, of course, you and your friends.
In that case, I'll send him away while I continue what I'm doing, so he can find the others first, and then he can meet back here with me.
Oh, so you want to go get your friends, or what did?
No, I want him to go get my friends because I'm important enough to sit here and finish my work.
Ah, okay.
And he's
and
messenger boy.
And he says, certainly, I will head off and do so. And
I will be right here.
And so he heads off. Hours pass. More hours pass.
Is that better?
Yes, seems to be.
Okay, I switched over to a different input device, so that might help.
Okay, yeah, it seems to be helping now.
Good.
Well, a touch. I hear maybe a little bit, but not nearly as much as before. So he leaves. He approaches nobody else in the party. So
good job, jackass.
So no one else is approached. So as night falls and no one returns, you realize that this may be up to you.
Well, after I'm finished with my studies, because I am got my work done, then I'll go and find them because he's incompetent.
Yes. Okay, so you, Salil, you find all of them. You find Fing meditating, and he's sort of in a yoga pose in a small little grove that he's made just outside the city, going Naho Rogekyo, Nayo Rogekyo, Nayo.
I'm covered in squirrels and birds and shit.
Yes. So he's doing that, and you're able to find Domdor, who is hanging out with his dwarven buddies. They have moved his much beloved chair from his tavern over to a tavern where nearer the dwarves, where they have other dwarves
it's
now.
Not positioned correctly. I'm still
can
trying
I
to
make
get it right.
Can I make some sort of check to figure out what's going on with Fing? Because I'm completely confused.
There seems to be no check that can defeat the inscrutability of what's going on with him. It seems to be genuine. I mean, it is definitely
all
mysterious.
right, Fing, we've got something we need to gather up. Follow me, please. Okay.
I skip over there chipper and with more energy than ever before.
His eyes look clearer, and his skin looks more.
His eyes are clear.
He's not carrying kegs. What's going on?
He smells of fresh pine needles.
I don't understand.
He smells of fresh pine needles. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It smells like the odor's missing. The cloud of alcohol around you, it's gone.
As he passes you, he
He
says,
smells like pine needles instead of like sweat and sadness.
Yes. Instead of a broken down vanilla car freshener bought from a gas station 50 years ago. And he passes you and says, "Namaste, friend." No, and then you manage to find Cade, who, and you can actually see Cade from a long way off because he's got his light gem above his head, and he's sort of like, you can see it seems to be flashing, and as you get closer, you can see that he's doing one of the things he likes to do, which is to amuse the town children by juggling his light gem along with other ones, and then hiding it and asking them if they can figure out which one is which, and they never get it right. So he actually takes a bunch of the money from the town children. You've actually talked to him not to do this before, but
Right, not the kids. I take it from the adults and give it to the kids.
Their
But the
parents.
kids like
Yes, their parents.
the old, gem from the ear trick, all that stuff. Absolutely.
Allowance for everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Because Master Pickpocket, it's kind of scary what I can do now. Like plant items on them, take items off of them, all that stuff. I mean, I'm like doing my own magic act here.
There you go.
Literally.
So you guys gather. Yeah, stop right there, criminal scum. So you gather all the people together. You gather all the people together, and snow clings to the rooftops of Daggerford as you make your way to Istival's residence, a drafty third-floor attic with a large fireplace at one end. Through frosty windows, you can see the town in all directions as well as beyond the walls. Even in retirement, Istival has a head for tactics. The paladin wears heavy furs and leans heavily on his cane. Well met, friends. I'm afraid that I have no information to share about the Red Wizards of Thay. Whatever they're up to, they're being quiet about it. What brings you to me on such a cold day?
Before we continue, I have an important question for Foom. Is Fing now Fing no boot because he's just barefoot and wanting to be closer to the earth?
Oh, yeah. No, I still like my boots.
Okay. I didn't know if you gave up boots in addition to all of this.
His boots are made of soy, though, now, so...
They're woven with hemp.
Wait, is the squire still with us?
No, the squire only visited in Eldrin Hahn was the name of the squire, and he only visited Soliel. Soliel's the only one who actually saw him.
And if I find him again, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
No.
So he says, what can I do for you?
Hey, Salil, this is your game.
No, we're pretty partied up.
You told us why we were supposed to come here.
Yes, I would tell you why the whole Dragonspear.
Yeah, so you summoned us.
I summoned.
Well, your squire did, or told him to bring us to you.
What squire? What do you mean? Who?
What's his name?
Tell him the name.
Istival turns pale, his wounded leg wobbles, and it takes every ounce of his strength and fortitude to keep from falling down. Eldrin Hahn? In an expression turned from surprise to horror to deep-seated anger. He strides across the attic, pulls a key from around his neck, and unlocks a large wooden trunk situated under a tapestry of the sun. He pulls out a device, a holy symbol of Amontor, and shows it to you. The holy symbol is spattered with old, dried blood. This is all that's left of Eldrin Hahn, my squire. He died 20 years ago in Cormyr.
So, Will, why don't you describe the guy who
What did he look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you describe him, which is this sort of, bright-haired, gray fur cloak, dark hair, he describes pretty much exactly what he says. And Istival looks more and more shocked. And finally, he invites you all to sit down by this, he has this roaring fire, so he has you all sit in the chairs by the fire. And he sits down himself, still looking troubled. And he says, "The royal court of Cormyr was infiltrated back in those days by a Rakshasa. Now, if any of you have infernal lore, does anyone have infernal lore?
I have forbidden.
Forbidden lore would do.
Okay. Would you like the wisdom or intelligence version?
Make it the whatever's better for you.
Okay. Really? That's exactly like that's. I got a nothing.
You rolled a 1.
I rolled a 1.
Wow. Okay.
That's the worst lore check I've ever done.
Fortunately for you, though, even though you pounded yourself in the head, you're like, let me get ready for this. But nonetheless, you know what a Rakshasa is, and actually many of you have heard about this. A Rakshasa is an evil demonic beast. It looks vaguely cat-like. If you remember the creatures from Skyrim, what the hell are their names? Do Do you know what I'm talking about? The cat creatures in Skyrim? I can't remember what they are.
Khajiit or whatever?
Yes, the Khajiit. They look a little bit like that, except far worse. They're larger for one thing. They have back-swept claws. So they have like hands like this, but the claws go backwards. There are rumors that they are immortal. They are masters of shape-shifting, of being able to take other shapes. They are bad dudes, Rakshasas. So you know about that, and immediately you realize, oh my god, we've stepped up in class here. By the time we knew what it was, the fiend had already murdered several Cormyrean nobles. My companions and I tracked the creature to its subtle Iranian lair, where we fought and killed its minions, but the Rakshasa escaped. By the time we reached the surface, the fiend had slaughtered my horse, and Eldrin was gone. Days later, a courier delivered Eldrin's holy symbol to the temple of Amontur in Suzail. It was covered in blood. I could not rest until Eldrin's slayer was destroyed. With the aid of divination magic, my friend and I cornered the Rakshasa in the royal palace, killing it before it could do untold damage in the guise of a war wizard named Norvin Tarlok. Tarlok's body turned up a week later in the sunken hold of a wrecked Sembian caravel at the bottom of Suzail's harbor. We had not been attacked by Norvin Tarlok. With the villain slain at last, I prayed to Amontur. I begged him to guide and protect Eldrin's spirit. His death grieves me more than any other wound. Our souls were as one. Now, I fear, the Rakshasa has somehow returned not only to haunt me, but also to threaten everything I hold dear.
So...
Okay. Damn.
Okay, so why would this thing come and have us seek you out to have you tell us about Dragonspear Castle? Dragonspear? Did I get that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, well that's the next question I asked because I'm like, huh?
Dragonspear Castle has many ghosts, does not abide ordinary men. And he begins to share with you what he knows of the castle. Some of it is stuff that Solil, you already knew, and that is what I mentioned before, that it's a ruin. You actually had all heard the name, but the sort of the details of it, that it was a ruin. This human adventurer named Daros Dragonspear who built it 300 years ago, that Daros was tricked into opening a portal in the Nine Hells, but you know more than that, or he knows more than that. He tells you that the ritual magic that was used to seal the portal weakened over time. For years, the priests of Tempest would recast the rituals to make sure the portal remained closed. That practice stopped a little more than a century ago when a horde of undead overwhelmed the Warbringer's warrior priests and a deadly mist settled over the ruin. That mist is now gone. And that you also know that the undead that infest Dragonspear Castle have since been purged or trapped in the darkest depths of the castle's dungeons by adventurers. But as Istival makes clear, Dragonspear is very dangerous, and it may be a portal to the Nine Hells themselves. And of course, Rakshasa from is the Nine Hells.
How convenient.
I can think of nothing other than the idea that perhaps the Rakshasa has decided that it wants revenge on me. I thought we had destroyed it once. I may be wrong.
Great.
For a being such as that to want revenge, it seems
Hold on real quick. I gotta grab something to drink, but Arv, real quick, check your Skype. But just keep that to yourself. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a very... So this creature is very smart and calculating.
Extremely.
So revenge would seem out of its
Seems
level
a
of...
bit petty.
Yeah,
It
seems a bit petty, yeah.
It's, and Arv, I really restrained myself from saying, well...
Especially
it's
since
a couple
after
years,
all the events with the Red Wizards.
you'd probably fall over and die, so it'd get its revenge anyways. But I don't say that. I'm very careful not to say that. I just think it, though. Because this devil's old.
Pause for a second. Saad, can you do me a favor and put a link to the character sheets in chat again for me?
Yeah, I think it's...
Well, actually, I may even have it. Is it just info?
Character? I think it's character. Sheets.
There it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Drat. How do I... there we go. Whoopsie. All right, just give me a second.
So yeah, Arv, you got that?
Yes. I'm looking now. Okay, so
It has some... I tell Istival it just has... It
Okay.
has some kind of ulterior motive. It's
I got it.
All right. Good.
Okay. So yes. So what was I saying? Okay, I'm sorry. So go ahead, Domdor. What were you saying? You and Cade were saying something. So he looks very like not distraught is not the right word. He's sort of introspective. He's like, you can clearly tell that he's having some internal debate.
Well, we just pointed out it seems rather petty for something so cunning to come back for revenge now. Like,
Yeah.
why?
The minds of demons are not like the minds of humans, my friend.
Well,
If they decide that the time has come for vengeance, they will take it when they can. Perhaps they wanted to do it before my old bones have left this plane and become beyond their reach.
indeed.
I cannot say, but for him to mention my squire, and he gets angry, and then he puts one mailed fist down on the table, and you're smashed, and kind of like, the glasses move, and like the table moves. He says, I will not stay here in this town, buried under snow as white as my hair, waiting for death. I will not wait for my fate to find me. If he wants a fight, he will have it. He stands up. And you see, now remember, Istival, of course, you guys know him pretty well at this point. Istival, of course, has always commanded respect, but of course he's got this brace on his knee, and, his adventuring days were behind him. But as he stands up, you see just sort of a vague impulse of what it is that drew him to you. A lot of people sort of, throw around the word paladin, and they're like, oh, I'm a paladin, blah, blah, blah. Like, when you actually see an honest-to-God paladin who made it through his adventuring days, this is a guy who just has a presence about him, is the only other way to describe it. And, as he kind of stands in front of the fire, and he looks down at you, and he says, my friends, I would not ask anyone to face this fate but my own. But I know that there are the heroes of Daggerford who would wish nothing more than to protect that town. I don't ask for me, I ask for them. Are you with me? And he points sort of at each one of you.
I just say, damn straight. My dwarven brethren will
Do you Ghost of the Galaxy? Do you Ghost of the Galaxy? Do you Guardians of the Galaxy style? Do you stand up? Like in the All right, we're all standing up. We're all standing up now.
It's like one of those poses where we're just all like grouped together and like. Yeah.
Yep.
And the camera pans across each one. And we're all like, yes. I'm assuming.
Oh, sure, why not?
except for Samuel, who's just like flexing instead.
He was
his
doing
way
it
of saying
before,
yes.
but yeah. We're gonna go with he's into it.
Yep.
And is everyone else doing the same thing? By the way, though, you've all pledged yourselves to this. Is that fair to say?
I'm sitting here reading a book, like, oh, what are we doing? No.
Yeah,
We're doing this.
I'm in.
Okay. So you stand up, and all of you sort of put your hands, and he says, my friends, I know not whether any of us will make it from this alive, but I know one thing. I will die among men and friends.
No,
and
you will not die. You will live. That's our goal.
He says,
our goal is not to die among friends. It is to live among friends.
He says, I have made peace with my end. My time has come to face it instead of letting it come
We
to
would
me.
like a lot of not end.
Yes.
A lot of not end after this. So
Well, hey,
keep going there, buddy.
You gotta do what you gotta do. We will be with you as to that end, I guess, is the best way to put it. So,
Okay.
let's do it.
You'll end your life in this
dear
chair, relaxed, with no care in the world, and you'll live a happy life.
He says, very well.
You'll not end in some kind of crazy charging into death battle. You know what I mean.
He says, very well. He says, I will do. I hear your words. I will do what must be done. But if it involves me back here telling stories of the days where we finally defeated these demons, it will be worth it. And he puts his hand on your shoulder. He's like, Domdor,
That's the mindset we need.
Cade, Jeannie, Soleil, Samil, Fing, I am glad you are with me. And so he does that, and he says, we will, and he tells you that he plans to leave at dawn. So, and he sort of marches off to start of gathering. And as he sort of marches off, and he sort of says, you guys should go make your preparations. You should go make your preparations. And as he heads off to one side of the room, he swings open. He like literally opens a tapestry. So he kind of, pulls it aside. And you see like, how do I describe this? There's always that scene where you're like going in like to like say a modern kind of military movie or something like that, where like just a freaking arsenal, right?
Yeah.
He has got, oh my god, swords, hammers, shields, armor, like just gleaming, right? Like he pulls it off and it looks like these things have been shined and polished today. And it's just lined up on the wall, like just like swords and like daggers and like any, I mean, it's just nuts, right?
I'm like, I go, ask him if there's anything for a dwarf, anything that's in dwarf size.
Yeah,
I'm going to need to cast detect magic here.
So he said, right. So he says that, but at this point he already has made clear. He's like, he's expecting you guys to leave, and he's like, he bid you goodbye, and then he walked over to do that and pulled open the tapestry. So he's now not paying attention to you. So if you'd have to like go over and be like, can I have one? I'm just saying that he's kind of not looking like, yeah, he's sort of
still casting detect magic. I want to see it.
You cast detect magic. So you definitely sense magic around that area. You don't know if the whole wall is magic. You don't know if like every bit of armor is magic. You don't know if some of it is, if it's radiating from him. There's definitely magic in that area,
is it
though.
Pretty?
Oh my god! I mean, it's like it's one of those things.
It's got to be here, right?
It's like the screen. It's like you wish, it's like to step out of character for a moment. You want a screenshot of this, is all I'm saying. Like it is really impressive. And in fact, the other thing that's strange to you is that the light that's reflecting off of it isn't just the firelight. There's some other light that's coming from it also, and you don't know exactly what it is. There's some internal light or something that's going off from it, but it's pretty dramatic. So you guys get ready. Now, do you have any last preparations you want to make before the dawn?
Drink and sleep and awaken and go.
Yes, I would like a V8.
Okay. That is provided for you, of course. You are able to make a very delicious V8.
I would just like to rest and prepare my spells.
Yes.
Lots of death is coming.
Yes, that is done. So you do so. A light snow falls from the dawn sky. Lady Morwen and several of her horsemen ride down from the Duke's castle, their furred cloaks flapping in the wind. As they draw nearer, you see one horse is without a rider, a beautiful grey mare. Your mount, Sir Estival, says Lady Morwen, nodding toward the riderless mare. And for your companions, our finest horses, each one as steady as the night is long. Lady Morwen and her soldiers dismount, offering you their trusty steeds. And they're not kidding. Like, these horses are way better even than the horses that you initially made the trip out to.
I was about to say, is it any of those horses?
No. These are really impressive. Like, I mean, they're the finest stock. You don't think they're kidding around. And you notice, of course, that the Duke is not here. This is Lady Morwen, his sister, who's the one who's actually, there greeting you. Despite his injury, Sir Istival is able to mount his horse unaided, and he does so without a hint of pain on his face, even though he sort of swings his legs stiffly over as he gets into the saddle. Lady Morwen seems impressed, but when she turns to you, her stern face belies the uncertainty of ever seeing you again. With the wind at your backs, she says, you should reach the way in 2 days. Tell that old cur, the innkeeper, what's his name, that the Duke will cover all expenses during your time at the inn. Istival nods to Lady Morwen and gallops away. You follow him through the gates of Daggerford, across Tyndall Bridge, and southeast along the tradeway toward Dragonspear Castle. You notice, by the way, as you're riding, that Istival's grey mare is named Ilesta, which is Elvish for falling rain or tearfall. And you don't know, but you get the impression that there's a bond between rider and horse that has been here before. Yes, so you travel on the tradeway, and you have essentially no hostile encounters between Daggerford and the way in, and as you might expect, Istival sets a pretty good pace. The cold winter air claws at your flesh as you ride southeast, past the hamlet of Gillian's Hill and the fortified estate of Leon's Hold, heading toward the way in. A cold night spent camping in tents by the roadside reminds you of the simple pleasures of a warm bed and a blazing hearth. Istival's old wound gives him grief, but he dulls the pain with a keg of brandy plucked from the Duke's reserves, which he offers to everyone except Fing. To Fing, he sort of nods respectfully.
Thank you.
The following morning, Istival prays to the rising sun with Eldrin Hawn's holy symbol clasped in his cold hands. And actually, the only ones who see this is Domdor. You're up early, and Fing, you were also up early. It's your new habit to welcome the rising sun.
Of course it is.
And so the two of you are up, and you actually see Istival kneeling towards the sun, and it seems that Eldrin Hawn's holy symbol is clasped in his hands. And you hear him say, I swear on my eternal soul, we will see this through. Amantur, light our path. And again, there is this sense of the sort of almost this light that's kind of glowing from him a little bit, is sort of the impression that you get. A biting wind from the north turns out to be a blessing in disguise, blowing at your backs and driving your horses onward. It's like you're caught in a tailwind, basically, and sort of pushes you forward. So you get past the friendly waypoint of Bowshot before midday. You feel pity for those riding in the other direction, their faces buried in thick wool scarves, and for the merchants in their plodding wagons that still have a long journey ahead of them. By early evening, you see plumes of white smoke ahead. The road crests near a bald outcropping of rock. Beyond, the road leads to the fortified wooden gates of a village enclosed by a wall of mortared granite and dominated by a large inn. And as you ride up to it, Istival looks back at you. The way in, my friends. Enjoy it. It's the last friendly company we're likely to have.
All right.
And so you guys kind of
absolutely.
You guys kind of gallop up, and you see that this actually, the way in is not just a single inn. It's actually also the village itself is also called the Way Inn, and has probably a good 100 people in it. You would guess. There's definitely a lot of people that are sort of kind of gathered around. And
do they look like any adventurers or anything like that, or is it?
Yes,
just
some of them
general?
look like adventurers, but a lot more of them look actually like farmers, like peasants. There's a few of them who live outside the inn, like a couple of small hamlets kind of leading up to it. So it looks like this is sort of like, to use a bad example, it's more like the last homely house than it is like the inn in Bree. You know what I mean? It's more like the place that does double duty as kind of like soldiers that protect people and things like that. So it does all that stuff. And did we lose Inom? I think.
I was about to say, just in chat, Games Conduct says he's Liam Nielsen. That'd be perfect. Istival
Yes, he says-
is Liam Nielsen.
He does. He actually at one point he looks at you. He says, "I have skills, special skills.
A particular set of skills.
If you find me, Rakshasa, I will track you down and I will kill you.
If you let my squire go, that'll be the end of it.
I don't have any money, but I have
I
skills."
try and get in the last inn before that. I try to see if I can get any information about any recent events happened around Dragonspear Castle.
Okay. Well, there's actually a couple of guards at the gate. And as you guys are going to the guards, they do sort of a cursory check of wagons and carriages and things like that are ahead of you. But as you guys pull up, they actually see Istival, and they sort of bow their heads respectfully and step back, and you guys ride on through. And the village there has stables for your horses. There is also a couple of extra little things. There's an apothecary there. There's a smithy. There is a store that sells all manner of mundane items and practical clothing and things like that. And then there is a shrine dedicated to Mayaliki. And Fing, you happen to know this because Mayaliki is actually goddess of the forest. So you have a chance to chat with them a little bit about druid, the druid life and all that sort of thing.
Right.
And so the inn itself, as promised by Lady Morwen, once you claim that you are agents of the Duke, you were given free food and lodging. There's more than enough guest rooms. It's a very large building, 2 stories, pretty sizable for an inn. The innkeeper's name is Cross Wheeler, who goes out of his way to sort of find this information. And Istival, as you guys all get in and sort of get the rooms all settled, he says, "My friends, before you all have a chance to head off to bed, I would like to ask a favor of you. I need to know if Darendor Gweth passed through this village recently. Darendor Gweth is one of my agents, and he may be someone that we can gain some help from."
Is it Darren? Sorry, Darren. What was his name?
Darendor Gweth is his name.
Darendar Gweth.
Yes, and he asks you for help to be able to do that. And excuse me while I make Fing Inam, and I mean Fing, Solil, and Solil Fing. Just a moment.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there.
Can you describe him to us? I was ask.
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Well, that's what I ask Istival.
Yes. So Darendar Gweth actually is someone who had originally he was actually a priest. Darendar Gweth is a priest of Tempest who left town a week ago. Istival doesn't think it's a coincidence. He explains that he thinks that Darendor may have been lured to Dragonspear Castle himself. He was basically one of Istival's agents, and he doesn't know if he's gone rogue, or more likely if he's been lured there for some other purpose, some mysterious purpose that is problematic. But it's an issue anyway, and he needs to know why. I also need to know why this didn't work the way I wanted to. But anyway, so he describes sort of the way he looks. He's sort of a gruff-looking man, probably in his later 50s. Obviously has his holy symbol, a mace that he carries, dressed in sort of light armor and a cloak. And so he kind of describes him also in a beard, sort of a neatly trimmed beard. So he has that as well.
All right, so I'll tell him I'll go head out and ask around.
Okay.
Specifically the guards, because that's...
Okay.
And I'll head to the inn-type places.
All right, so you head out to do that. While so this is what you discover as you're looking around, taking about an hour or so. Make a charisma. First of all, who is staying in the inn and who is going to help Domdor?
I'll help Domdor.
I'll help Domdor.
Okay, is anyone staying in the inn?
I'll stay here. I'm chilling.
Okay. So I will come back to you, Fing, in a little bit. For Domdor, Cade, and Soliel, all of you can make charisma checks for me, please, as you sort of talk to the various villagers for information.
Oh, God.
That's why I came with.
Wait, sorry, I missed you there. What? Oh, this is for people out there, right?
Mm-hmm. People out there, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, Fing.
7.
13.
17.
Okay. So who is the 7? Okay, so that was Domdor.
Yep.
Domdor, you discover that a man matching Darender's description came through town about a week ago, and he was not alone. And Soliel, as you're sort of speaking around to people, you find out that he was actually traveling with a friend of similar age, a scruffy, bearded man and retired soldier named Alwern Mulverax. So you know that Alwern Mulverax went through. You don't know why they were friends with a connection, but both of them went through. And then Cade, you were able to discover something about the two of them after you pass a couple of gold to a person who was sort of unwilling to share this information at first. And that is that the two men apparently served together in the Waterdeep militia years ago, and both were followers of Tempest, the Warbringer.
Okay.
So that's what you're able to gather.
Deep dark secret. Okay.
All right.
So you're able to do that. And as you're doing that thing, you were in the inn, and as you're sitting there, you see a couple of stout dwarves walk over to you, and one of them in particular, he has a large shield sort of slung at his back, and he's got this great red beard, and he stands down and he says, "Ah, hello, my friend. Pleasant night, isn't it? Pleasant night to be by the fire."
Sure is. Isn't the air wonderful?
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Bracing, I'd say. My friend, I wonder if you might be interested in having a friendly game of cards. Perhaps my friend there can set the mood. And the other guy, the other dwarf, sits down at a chair and kind of leans back. And he plays this as more people start to kind of file in and sort of make some noise. He starts playing this strange guitar, some kind of strange like lute music or something like that, that he starts playing. And you know this thing to be called, you've actually heard of something like this before, and it's actually called a yarding, which is a guitar-like instrument that's playing. And so he says, what can I offer you a card game, my friend?
I suppose I'm not doing anything better at the moment.
Okay. So he second here. So his friend begins to play the guitar, as you hear. And he sits down and he starts dealing out the cards to you. And he says, "Can I buy you some ale, my friend?"
Oh, no, thank you. You could buy me a Sprite with a shot of grenadine in it, though.
He says, "A what?" He says,
They call it like Shirley the Temple.
Yeah. No, thank you. Fine, sir. I'm good with my juice.
"All right. Well, very well then. And he passes out some cards. And this card game that he's playing is sort of a variation. It's kind of a combination of basically free cell and poker, where you have a set of cards in front of you, which you have to exchange. And you can either exchange it from cards in the middle of the table or from your opponent's hand. And so you play it back. You notice that he's decent at the game. You also have been lucky enough to have played it before, so you actually know a little bit about it. And at a certain point, you think you might have a chance to win it. So go ahead and make an intelligence check for me, please.
Wait, before I do that, can I offer him a drink?
Certainly, if you want.
Yes, I would like to. Would you like some mead or a shot of tequila or something?
Certainly. I'd always be happy for one.
All right.
Mighty
Barkeep,
kind of you.
Get this man the most potent drink in the house.
Mighty kind of you, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so they're playing, and so go ahead and make that. Go ahead and make the intelligence check for me.
Intelligence?
Yes, you're not proficient in. I saw that Domdor said he's proficient in cards. You're not proficient in like cards per se or like games, are you?
Who made? No.
Okay, so that's fine. So just make your intelligence check then.
Oh, no pluses.
Oh!
Wow.
Ooh.
So
I've gotten sharper. The old brain's
Jesus.
working again.
Yep. So at a certain point, he thinks he's got you, and he sort of puts aside his two cards. He says, "Well, my friend, it appears that things have gone the way of the dwarves this day." And then you sort of smile and kind of pull over the next two cards that match your own, and you sort of look at him, and his eyes widen, and he says, "My goodness, I suppose I was wrong. Very impressive, my friend. Don't you think so, Elvor?" And Elvor is playing the guitar, sort of nods and kind of smiles as he continues to play. And Dargus starts shuffling the cards again, and he says, "That's impressive indeed. I've seen a lot of card players in my day. Not that it's been very easy to find any of them these days, what with the troubles we've been having. I've been up and down the Sword Coast, my friend, and seen what we've seen. It's not a good thing."
Aye. Let me tell you about what we've seen. Here, what's the guitarist's name again?
Guitarist's name is Elvor.
Elvor, come here, take my spot at the cards. Give me your guitar.
And Elvor sort of looks at you, and he's kind of like, Elvor's like, he sort of shakes his head, and Dargus says, he might be willing to do that after a couple more games, my friend, but to be quite frank, he never lets that thing go.
I merely wanted to sing you a fine ditty about our adventure.
He said, well, let me, so he stops, and he kind of looks over at him, and then he says, he sort of whispers to Elvor, and Elvor sort of nods at him, and he kind of looks suspiciously at you, and he stops playing as soon as I find where the hell I put it. Yes, he stops playing. He stops playing, and he hands it over to you.
Okay. And I'm not actually singing, so I just continue to.
You're not?
No. Oh God, no. Me personally? No.
You're not?
This is role playing. No. I pretend to sing.
Okay.
About our journeys and my fall into alcohol abuse and how the druids saved my life, and then I hand out leaflets to everyone.
And everyone's kind of like they all nod.
What's going on?
They all sort of nod at each other, and they're like, they're all sort of nod at each other. Now, when you were talking about your adventures, did you mention anything specifically, by the way?
Just our fight with the dragons and headbutting,
right,
chieftains and.
And no. did dragons...
Nothing specific. Dragonspear, probably, yes.
So you sort of hand it back over to him, and you mentioned the Dragonspear thing just as you're handing the guitar back, and he goes, and all of a sudden he goes, "What?" And Dargus like chokes on his drink, and Elvor breaks one of the strings on his beloved yarding. "Dragonspear Castle! By Morin's iron beard, you must be mad! That place is cursed! It's full of dragons and devils and things that won't stay dead! It's a terrible place to perish, if you ask me. May the gods protect you from the evil spirits that haunt that place."
Oh, my. What more can you tell me about this amazing sounding place?
I can tell you that it's haunted. I can tell you that too many good people have died there. There's 300 years of the dead that lie there. It's a sound, they say. A sound you can hear from miles off of their wailing and their moaning, and they're trying for the live spirits to join the dead ones. I wouldn't go within 10 miles of that place. Isn't it right, Elvor? And Elvor sort of nods, and he starts playing a much faster, somewhat agitated classical tune. Dun, 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 you know. He's also transposing off the E string, which he broke, you know, so he's having it. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so he's doing all that, and he's going on about how dangerous it is and about how difficult, and he says, you shouldn't be going anywhere near it. It's a mistake. If you do anything like that, that's just, no. I can't even...
Well, why would I, a very powerful and extremely sober cleric, be worried about such a place?
No matter how powerful or how sober you are, my friend, you'll wish you'd given yourself to drink.
I love
that
this
Dragonspear Castle.
I know. I wish I could hear this.
It is the most dangerous thing you could imagine. I wouldn't put my head into into the jaws of a real dragon, and I've seen one of them before. And so
Well, thank you for your concern. I'm sure we'll be fine.
So they go back and forth, and finally they end up, bidding you goodnight, and they head off to their room. And just at that point, Domdor and Cade and Samil and Solil and Genie and all the rest of them kind of come back in and see you sitting there.
Well, hey, everybody.
Let's.
Do we see like
Still a little wary about the new thing.
Yeah, do we see?
I love this new thing.
Had I planned that a little bit better, I would have had something. I was trying to think of something in like 30 seconds, and I just couldn't do it. Something rhyming with sober at the end. I don't know.
And that's why it's not October, because I'm sober.
I don't know. You guys are dealing with limericks. What's a cleric named?
Do we actually see the dwarves leaving his table when we come in, or
No, they are already gone by the time you arrive.
All right, Arv, I'm actually why these guys are in there. I'll be with you in a second, guys. I need to step outside for a moment. I'm just gonna go get some fresh air.
Okay, so he steps outside.
Yeah, I pretty much just go. While everyone's walking, I just say I found nothing and I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed.
We assume down where we told you, but at least I tell you what I found on the way back. So, I don't know if you're gonna tell them the same thing or what you learned too.
Yeah, I assume we'd all share.
Nothing hugely important.
Yeah,
but,
so you guys found something.
If nothing major, yeah. The Waterdeep militia thing, follow Tempest, blah blah blah.
My key thing was
We should probably then tell Istanbul.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So.
Okay.
Dom, are you coming with us to go talk to him?
Yeah, I'll welcome.
All right.
All right, so who's staying in the tavern here, or in this area?
Yeah, who is left?
Inam?
Yeah, I'm staying.
So wait, Fing stepped outside? Is that what happened?
Yeah, just outside the inn. You said.
Get some air.
Well,
I shared my information with you guys, but I figured you could share with Istanbul. I'm going to do my usual tavern thing, relax, find a dark corner, usual.
Dom, since he's sober now, he won't go wandering off into trouble, I don't think, so I'll come with you to go talk to Istanbul.
Okay.
You're the one with the info, so it's better if you tell.
Well, you're the one who talks to him. Yeah, join me for a minute, and I'm worried he'll filch the damn silver.
For that authority,
Exactly.
All right, so Domdor and Cade go to speak to Istanbul. In the meantime, Solil and I'm assuming the others. Solil, you're staying behind.
Yes.
Okay. So you stay behind. You're sitting in the inn.
Okay. So I'm actually going to come back in and kind of stumble over to where Inam's at.
So Solil, you have this strange scent that's kind of coming off of him, and it's a vaguely familiar scent. Like you think you've smelled it before, but you can't quite place it. But it kind of brings you back, maybe to your college days, maybe.
I just want to point out that I look extra cheery and
yes. And so you sort of sense, and you sense a couple of other people kind of looking in your direction, like they maybe have caught a whiff of it also.
I lean over to Solil and say, "Do you think they know?"
And as he says that, you get a full blown whiff of whatever,
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look at his face and see.
His eyes seem bloodshot, a little bit.
Interesting.
Bloodshot. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask him if he would like any food.
Food? I would love some food. I would absolutely adore some food.
What could you go for right now?
What do they have?
What do you?
Everything.
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 Do I have to roll for this?
So you're able to
I do have forbidden lore, so
forbidden lore.
Wait. Salil, hold on. I gotta tell you about this thing. Okay. So I stopped drinking, right? It's great.
Okay, yeah,
I think I was only able to do it. The druids, they taught me how to grow this herb, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, but what you do is you pluck it from the ground and you grind it up and put it in this paper that you roll up, and you actually smoke it. I can't exactly explain what it makes you feel like. Hold on, Arv. I'm gonna cast Airwalk real quick.
Okay.
And walk about 5 feet in the air.
Okay, so you do
Like
that.
this.
You do that. Everybody sort of looks at you, and from somewhere in the distance, you think you don't know if it's Elbor or not, but you hear someone playing like da 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 da. Casey Jones, you better. You hear somewhere in the distance. There's something maybe going on, So you see that, and everyone sort of looks at you, sort of in amazement, and a couple of people smile at you knowingly. They kind of like that they know that you know that they know. Yeah. One of them actually tosses up a little beanbag that seems to have something in it. Looks vaguely like tie-dye.
Oh, I throw mine up too.
Yeah. So now you guys can hacky sack together. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. One of them is like, "Hey, did you go to Hampshire?" No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not the case. That's a
So I come back down, sit down. But you offered food, yes. But you should definitely, Salil. Do you want to try some of this? You
why
have
the
to.
hell not?
Let's go outside. I don't know if it's actually proper to do this.
I will get by.
For science purposes.
So yeah, he's a wizard, man. He's
Actually, a good one would be one toke over the line. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Or purple haze. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Yeah. Anyway, it's
so Lil and I are going outside.
I've got to try his new healing remedy before we're in the field.
Oh, all right, you guys go off to try the new remedy.
It's medicinal.
Oh,
I've heard it's
Oh,
medicinal.
private, yeah.
Fortunately, the weigh-in recently passed a referendum, so you should be all good. Meanwhile, Sod and Domdor and Cade, you guys go up and find Istival, and he is sitting by this small fire in his room, and he has his furs. He's just taken his fur off. His armor's on. You're not sure if you ever see him outside of his armor, and he's just sitting on the edge of his bed. And as you knock on the door, he says, "Come in," and you enter, and he's like, "Yes, my friends, what can I do for you?"
Cade has. Yeah. I just walk in and sit down. Cade's.
First of all, I offer him a shot of whiskey to warm the bones if he's up for it, for my flask.
What's up, UFC? No need for that. I've got to be heading to bed soon. In fact, we all should probably be reaching the bed soon.
We'll
off
turn
with
in
the
soon. I wanted to talk to you about. We were poking around looking for Darendar, and it turns out he's in the company of Alworn Mulverax, a retired warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound familiar?
Yes. Yes, I think so. I believe it was mentioned by Darendar, if I'm not mistaken. One of his friends, perhaps, in the militia.
Yeah.
Where were they? Where did they go?
Well, we couldn't find that out necessarily, but they were been seen around here.
They arrived a week ago, I say.
Yeah.
I see.
I don't know.
Do you know how long ago they left?
I couldn't find out. No one seemed willing to say anything.
That's troubling to me. But it means that they. If they came here, it means he was on his way back to Dragonspear Castle. Wow,
No.
what could have drawn him there?
Now, did you and he serve together, Esteban? I mean, in the service of good or what have you? Waterdeep, maybe?
Of a time, Darendar and I worked together. I wouldn't say we served together in quite the same capacity. But yes, at one point, we were colleagues in arms. Darendar's a good man, and someone who has gathered information for me in the past. It's one of the reasons why I'm so troubled by his disappearance. And now that I know that he's come through here, I don't think these things can be accidental.
Probably not. So wouldn't it be safe to assume the Rakshasa is probably manipulating to bring him here too?
I hope not. It's conceivable, I suppose, that the Rakshasa was impersonating him also, but it seems illogical that he would leave, come here just to be seen, and then go over again.
Oh no, yeah, I know. I mean, the Rakshasa has posed as someone he knew to lure him back over here or something. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
perhaps.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we get to the castle.
We will discover that. With luck, we will be at the castle within a day or two. One can hope so.
All right.
Thank you for bringing this information to me, though, my friends.
Yes, that turning in sounds good.
Where are Soliel and Fing?
We left them in the common room. So
Downstairs. We'll just say downstairs.
Yeah, yeah. We should.
Yeah, Soliel's
I'm
taking
sure,
care
I'm
of
sure we're
Fing.
back
Don't worry.
eating at this point. Oh, yeah. So Leo, did it kick in? How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Aren't you like calm right now? I'm so calm.
I haven't been this relaxed in a while.
Also, everything you say is funny. Everything. Everything.
It's funny.
So funny. Isteval, you're a riot.
Non-stop.
Dude,
Dragonspear.
your face. I don't know. But I just wow.
Isteval looks at you
Hot
suspiciously.
fry.
So are you saying this to Isteval? Are you up there with Isteval?
Who, me?
Oh,
Yeah,
those
are you
two
guys?
Oh,
Are you
no,
guys
this is us
down below.
outside. This is our roleplay outside.
okay, I was gonna say I didn't think you would go talk to Dad about it. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know.
Dude, shut up, dude.
I know you've seen a dragon, but have you seen a dragon while on druid herbs? It's crazy.
Oh,
Like a whole new experience.
that's funny.
If only we could like give these herbs to the dragons, they'd be like much calmer.
Could you imagine if we all just dragons and like humans, man, and like elves and everyone, man, like if we could all just sit down together and like just smoke some druid herbs, everything, there'd be peace everywhere, man. There'd be peace
Who
everywhere.
needs swords right now?
All right. And at a certain point, as Sod and Kate, as you guys are leaving, Domdor and Kate, as you guys are leaving Isteval's room, at some point, you hear something down down below. You hear some singing, and you hear, "All right, we're jamming, and I'm jamming with you."
I just like misconduct as well. Like all of a sudden, and I totally want to read like every book right now.
It makes so much more sense
right here.
Oh man! All right. Well,
and for some reason, the kitchen staff has got to be just like elated.
You just see
They're giving a lot of orders for some reason.
So it was like, dude, watch how fast I can read this. And you just like flip the page and go, yeah. Yes.
I just heard fireball. Bam! What's up?
Oh my goodness! You guys aren't on meth, guys. I think you're doing something else. Anyway, hey Shadow, what's up, man?
Hey, the druids make some potent stuff, man. It's not our fault.
Yeah, the evening passes without incident. Everyone is either very rested or very happy, or both, as the case may be.
So calm.
And yes, and so you guys actually head off. You guys head off the next morning and on horseback. And at first, things proceed more or less as normal. You do
Just quickly
encounter.
can you turn off the voice?
Oh yes, sorry, thank you.
Going?
Beg your pardon.
Oh, we brought all the.
Yeah, actually, they all follow
Yeah,
you.
we brought everyone with us.
They all follow you.
They're
They're all just
Numbers.
walking around with us, having conversations like that.
Exactly. Oh man, no problem, Shadow. I understand, man. So you guys are on the way. Yes, exactly, Joey. Can you infuse these druid herbs onto a weapon? Oh my goodness.
Inflict slow for 3 rounds.
That is correct. That is correct.
That's got to enhance his healing capabilities.
All right, and you
Anyways.
guys. So you guys head off, and you encounter. At first you encounter a few people sort of casually just kind of ambling along. Like a farmer or two sort of tips his cap. And several hours pass. And on in the 6th hour, just as you're thinking about possibly kind of calling it, maybe sort of looking around. Because you left at dawn, so you're thinking about maybe stopping for, sort of a lunch and kind of to, get your bearings because you should be approaching in not too long.
Yeah,
time.
we don't want to stress out. Like, we don't want to exert ourselves just to get there. There's no point in that.
And as you guys are just sort of thinking about that, you actually hear in the distance, you actually hear what sounds like some kind of distant, you don't know if it's a cry, but it's like a long, like a ho, like that. And it seems as if it's somewhere between human made and something else made. I mean, it's not exactly like a wolf, but it's not really human either. And as you all look in the direction, you see what may just be like a faint plume of black smoke on the horizon, sort of coming up on the horizon. And Istival sort of kind of, reins his horse to a stop and looks. The call does not repeat itself. And he says, and he looks back at you and he says, "What do you make of that?"
No idea. There's no way I can check to figure out what that is.
Not from this distance, no.
I have no knowledge of a horn, of a noise like that.
No, but
not per se. I mean, again, as I've described it to you, is sort of what you think about it as. It's sort of like it's both. It's not. It doesn't. You can't tell whether it's not. Again, it's sort of like not human. It's not wolf. It's not really demonic either. Sort of. But it's sort of it's unearthly though.
it's a werewolf.
And I mean, you've definitely heard ghosts before, but ghosts are sort of it's manimal. It's man-bat. You've definitely heard ghosts before, not to be confused with Batman. You've definitely heard ghosts before, but those are not loud, and they're not sort of like you can't hear them from. I mean, this black smoke has got to be half a mile distance. It's a pretty clear day, so you're able to see it. Yeah, and Istival says, "Well, I don't want to leave anyone who's in trouble behind, but at the same time, it could be something simply to throw us off our trail. If we hurry now, we can get to Dragonspear before we can rest here and then get to Dragonspear before the evening. But I'll leave it to you."
It's not coming from the same direction.
No. In fact, it's sort of like, if Dragonspear is off like to the northwest, this is like northeast, so it is kind of taking you off your path. If you went to find out whatever this is, you would probably it would be a good another hour or two to get there, and then at that point you'd be getting to Dragonspear like in the evening probably.
Son of a bitch, side quest.
Yeah, but I don't like leaving someone who may be in
There's a
trouble
big
either.
exclamation point over it also, and it's glowing, it's glowing yellow.
Can we set a waypoint?
Oh god, too much truth in all of
Save
that.
the game, no. Save the game. Save the game.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
should
Chat can save scum for you, yeah.
You know what? That would be funny if you played D&D like that, like make it arcadey. Like,
Oh my god, you could, dude. I'm
Roll
telling you,
for-
when I started playing Dragon Age, for the first 5 hours, I was worried that I was playing basically a single-player MMO, and I'm like, crap. And then it got a lot better. You leave the hinterlands, and it gets way better. But for the first 5 hours, I'm like, I don't want to play an MMO, especially not by myself, And then it got a lot better. But yeah, I was really worried. I'm like, oh god. Anyway, it's like gather 6 herbs, gather 5 this. Anyway, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Can
I was just gonna say I would like to suggest that we go check out the black smoke. I mean, that's a
Second.
great idea.
Do you
Can
have
I check
ideas,
the city?
Thing?
Seconded?
Yeah,
Can
I'm
I
a little
check-
bit paranoid
is it-
right now. I don't know why.
Is it on an actual pathway?
What's that? Is it on the actual pathway? No. It's over basically plains and like low rocks and stuff. It's not difficult for your horses to traverse, but it is decidedly not on
Is there
the
any way to
road.
check if there's any like tracks or anything in that general direction?
Oh, sure. If you want to look, you could sort of get off your horse if you want.
Yeah,
and sort of
just
check
quickly.
down by the ground. Yeah, go ahead and make a roll for me. Do you have a tracking skill or tracking lore, or nature lore, or anything of that kind?
So just
all
a-
right. So you're just going to be making then an intelligence check as you try to scan the ground for tracks of some kind.
It's just yeah.
Nice.
19.
I mean, there are definitely tracks that indicate both humans, horses, possibly like the path of a fox. I mean, you're not a tracker, but definitely there's like some small woodland animals as well. But you don't see anything that's sort of specifically or recently going in that direction. You know, it's all sort of like people that were going off the road maybe and then coming back on it. So yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think
I'd like to use speak with animals and talk to my horse and see
Okay.
if the horse knows what made that sound.
And the horse goes, I wouldn't go anywhere close to it. I don't know. Can I have some hay?
Roar.
Roar.
Well, that was.
By the way, you kind of smell.
Why do you smell like a bonfire?
Here, I feed him some of my druid herbs.
Oh. Now I understand. I'm whinnying. Get out! I'm whinnying. Get it? Whinnying. And he starts making whinnying noises, and the other horse sort of just stares at him.
like, dude, when I move, I have like 8 legs.
Have you noticed how many legs I have?
You know,
are
you
so
stand. He
huge.
says, "You stand on 2 legs. I stand on 4. 4 is 2 more than 2." And his eyes sort of widen.
I want to ride you now.
So knows nothing about like the tracks or the smoke or anything. Like, no.
No, certainly not now. He seems very concerned about something else. He's very much up by Fury Fire. He's very much concerned about other things.
Just
Okay.
quickly, did we notice that? Did the smoke just appear like and with the noise, or was it something that we came up to?
It was something you came up to, but it's definitely coming from that direction. I mean, it was from that direction, but
Oh, come on, let's go check it out.
All right, well, I think we should go check it out.
Let's do it.
Actually, no. That's the new name of my horse, though. Misconduct, Blaze.
your horse is called Blaze. Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be blazing.
Yes. You got him for 420 gold. Hey-oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's worth 420.
He's worth 420 gold.
It is now.
How much is Blaze? Blaze for 20? Yeah. Anyway.
So we're going to check it out.
Yeah. I would like to.
Okay. He says, "All right, I'll follow along with you, but I'd ask we do this as quickly as we can."
Now, what time is it? What
This
is
is probably about like noontime because
Okay,
you left it
okay.
so it's probably about noontime. Now, if you go off, he's going to basically tell you that he doesn't want to stop for lunch, basically. So, I'm just letting you know.
That's fine.
Okay. You guys head off. It does take you about an hour and a half. You don't encounter anything on the way over there. You don't hear any repeat of the sound. But as you get closer, you see this black smoke getting larger and larger in the distance, getting closer and closer. And then you finally come across, you actually see, as you cross over one small hill, a homestead, or what used to be a homestead, that is now a smoking ruin. The barn has been burned. The house itself has been burned. The haystacks, were all sort of burned down to the ground. Even more disturbingly, you find there is a couple of oxen are lying dead in the field. Their throats were slit. And nothing was taken from them. Like the meat wasn't cut off their bones. They were just left to die there. The sort of house itself is kind of a smoking ruin. And as you're kind of picking through sort of the rubble and the tracks, you also find a couple of dead bodies. What look to be a couple of humans, although they're now burned pretty much beyond recognition. A male and a female human, and a small, probably a child, male human, all dead.
Hey.
Can I check for tracks again?
I thought you said check for traps. I'm like,
I
well,
simply thought you were
about
to say
that, yeah.
I checked their pockets, and I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh.
Okay. Yes, you can certainly check for tracks. Now, what kinds of things are you checking for? Like, I mean, tracks of what kind and where, and like where are
I
you
would
looking?
guess, based on this information so far, I'd say humanoid tracks.
Okay. All right. So you sort of gather around. So you sort of look around the outside. Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me. And is anyone else doing this also, or is it just Domdor?
I'm kind of looking for any sign of whatever made that howling noise. So
Okay.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye.
I'm
Well, they do.
walking over the bodies, checking them out, performing prayers, all that kind
Okay.
of jazz.
All right. You do that. Solo, what are you doing? I'm sorry.
I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the perimeter while everyone else does the more investigative work.
Okay.
Or was this
So-
an int or an intelligence roll? Or a wisdom roll. Sorry.
This would be an intelligence roll.
Okie doke. Hang on.
And one of the things you notice, by the way, as you're sort of stepping over the bodies, is that it's not just that they were burned. There was clearly fire that was set in them. And Cade, this is something you notice in particular. It's not just that fire was set. It's that, first of all, you notice, and I shouldn't say, I'm sorry, I said human. I'm sorry, not human. Elven, I beg your pardon. Elven, 3 elves, 2 older ones, and 2 older male and a female elf, and a small, again, you think child, elven child. But the other thing you notice is that in addition to the fact that the house has been burned and all that stuff, you also find telltale signs of what looks like traces of acid still found on their clothes in several spots as well. And Domdor, as you sort of search around, you don't find any tracks in particular, except that you also can smell a little bit of that tang still on the air. Now, it's not recent. This did not happen like 5 minutes ago, but you are pretty sure you've sensed.
Can any of us tell, or did you say that are they elven?
Yeah, they are elven. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Does it smell pretty much like Sooth's? Because we encountered him before. Does it have a familiar smell?
It does have a familiar smell, yes. Now, the only thing that's strange to you is the whole burning part, because obviously, if it was him, he was using acid breath, not burning. He doesn't shoot flame as such.
There's no sign of acid.
Oh, no, there is. There is something. I mean, you do not find acid. Cade does. You don't find acid, but you do find the tang. You do smell that tang on the air, though.
All right.
And yeah, Arv, actually, what I want to do is figure out, well, if he used acid to kill him, then, so can I find out, was it chemicals or the fire popped out of the fireplace?
That's going to be too difficult. You don't have any expertise in that. That's going to be too difficult to determine. You can't really CSI it that way. The only thing you can say, though, is that you know for a fact that acid doesn't create fire. So it's either 2 separate events or it's people working together. If it is the same creature, people working with him. But there was clearly an attack, and whether it was which attack came at what point, whether it was 2 attacks, 1 attack, or whatever, you don't know. But yeah, the scent is very familiar.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Say again, Fing?
Oh no, I was just talking to Apples. Like, slow down, no acid, just druid stuff.
Yeah, no acid.
Yeah. No.
Let's slow it down there. So anyway,
magical herbs, guys.
So as I'm like walking, that's pretty much all that I see is just acid.
It's all natural.
Because like I said, I'd probably be pretty close to
Yes.
like for doing the prayers, whatnot. Do I notice anything peculiar?
yeah. As you're reaching down to sort of some of them, you actually do notice something. Make a perception check for me, please. And you can make it on the basis of perception check. So make it'll be an intelligence check also, but you can add 3 to this thing.
Okay.
Herbs give you insight.
Yeah. No, to be quite frank, this has kind of sobered you up a bit on all levels.
Yeesh.
I saw that 20 for a minute. But
same.
that's actually enough, though. You guys, you were able to determine as you look, you notice that, in particular, the ears have been burned away of these people.
That's lovely.
And I don't mean the whole ear. I mean, in particular, the tips.
Do we know anybody that has something against elves?
Besides the big green dragon?
Besides the big green dragon, yeah. Somebody that might have motive to be helping out.
I mean, you certainly know that there are some people who don't like elves, just like there's some people who don't like dwarves or some people who don't like halflings. I mean, but there's nothing specific about that. But, again, you know that... in particular, I mean, this obviously is really bothering Genie himself, as you might expect. But even he doesn't know of anyone who's particularly sort of got it out for elves, except for, the Emerald Assassin. But it seems strange, though, again, that the sort of burning on top of it seems odd, unless he's, if it is him, unless he's working with someone. But definitely, I mean,
and I know this sounds
it
like
seems like it seems like a targeted attack. Is my point.
Intense question, but would we be able to tell if there was a difference between this acid burn and the acid burn of the dragon? Is this the same? Is this just somebody trying to pose as the dragon?
Well, that's a good point. You can tell that it has the same kind of scent and the same kind of pattern, but that doesn't mean that you can prove it was the dragon. You're not, expert on acidic burn patterns, It's possible someone's trying to pose. If they're trying to pose, they're doing a good job of it. And if they're trying to, if that's what that is, they are doing it deliberately. Like, this isn't an accident. Either it's a dragon who did this, or it's someone who really wants you to think it is. One way or the other.
Anyone else?
I think you're kind of overthinking it there, buddy. I think the dragon probably did do this. So he rages against every elf he can find. 3 elves.
I found no human prints or anything like that. So I can't.
Flew down.
Wait, as far as like tracks too, what kind of tracks do we see? Dragon tracks? I mean, that would obviously leave a imprint in the ground.
Yeah,
no?
you don't actually. But you also know, of course, that these things can attack from the air.
Yeah.
You do not, but you do not see. But you don't see any tracks on the ground. And Istival, who's actually been kind of looking around, looks very grim, and he says, "This is deliberate. Someone is trying to either draw us off the track, or someone decided to take out something they had against the elves against them here. I don't know.
Try and delay us.
Yes,
that's another possibility.
I don't know who these people are, but I don't know what else to say except, along with Fing, I would say prayers for Amantor for them. But I have a sense that we must move on as well. And you can tell that, you guys can tell that Istival looks genuinely torn. Like, on the one hand, you can tell there's sort of a part of him that wants to go find out, do something. But there's also a part of him that's sort of like, kind of anxiously figuring like you guys need to get onto the source of the issue.
It's bigger picture stuff.
Yeah, because I was going to say, well, still, what about the sound? Isn't that what we're...
I don't, and he shakes his head. He says, "It troubles me as well. I've never heard the like of it."
All right, so we should probably head on to Dragonspear, but we've got to be very cautious now because something could be out there.
Thank you for the follow, Frem18. Yep.
We could be shadowed by something that's not.
Yeah, well, just try to keep alert, but just keep moving. There's nothing we can do for them anymore, and whatever made this is long gone, so we should be too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys set back on the path. And move back towards Dragonspear Castle. It's obviously a grim party that sort of goes along, sort of shaken by what it is that you've seen. But you don't encounter anything else until you find yourself approaching the ruins of Dragonspear Castle. They crown a lonely hill at the end of a winding stretch of neglected road branching east of the tradeway. The miles untamed fields that surround the castle are dotted with the remains of burnt wagons, gutted cottages, broken fences, and the wooden bones of war machines that were abandoned long ago. And you guys don't you haven't stopped yet, but these look to be a long time ago, not like just recently that this happened. So it's been a while, and Istival kind of shakes his head with his mouth set firmly in a thin line, but he says nothing as you guys pass the signs of destruction. War, neglect, and the elements have worn the once mighty castle down to its present wretched state. 2 walls with turrets once encircled the keep, but the outermost wall and its towers have been reduced to rubble, forming necklace of broken gray stone around the hillside. The inner wall and towers are built on higher ground and are mostly intact, although you see numerous holes punched through the walls and rooftops. Half hidden behind these crumbling fixtures is the main keep, the entire south side of which is collapsed. The closer you get, the less serene and more unnerving the ruins become. The hill and everything on it has a deathly stillness, and amid the weeds and rocks you see old bones and broken weapons, more remnants of ancient battles won and lost. And so Istival sort of looks back at you and says, I leave it to you, friends, how you wish to approach. Once we're there, it's my job to track down whoever it is responsible. I must find the Rakshasa and do justice to him if I can.
Yippers.
Don't. I tell him you should probably not go alone when you do this.
I will go with
stay
you.
together.
I will be led by you, my friend. I will be led by you. But I know very little of this place.
Blind vengeance is not a paladin's way. I know that for a fact.
No, I am. Believe me, he says, and he sort of looks at you with his eyes, his gray eyes flashing. He says, my vengeance will not be blind. When I take it, I will stare into the Rakshasa's eyes as his soul begs for mercy before descending to the hells where it belongs.
Well, I think Dom was just kind of saying, don't rush in there. You know,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you get the
sword
impression.
out, that's all.
You get the impression his anger was not for you, though. I mean, you get the
Oh,
impression
yeah,
it was just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, so.
Okay. But we know even less of this place. We've never even been here before, so it's going to be kind of new to everybody.
Yeah. Did Istanbul said he came here before, or?
So Istanbul actually says that no, he's not actually been here before, and the fact that he's been summoned here indicates to him, Istanbul sort of knows that he's being, that there's some confrontation coming, although he doesn't know what. He said as much to you, so he knows only of Dragonspear by legend. He's seen it from a distance, but not ever up close.
Alrighty.
All right, can I do
Zach,
a?
And Zach, that's not true. Actually, it's actually very paladinish. Paladins have a deep, deep hatred for the demonic, deeply hatred, almost as big as their hatred for the undead. Not to mention, he is human after all. In addition to being a paladin, this guy killed his squire.
Paladins don't go in blind rages though.
No, he's not right, and he's not doing that. You don't
That's
see
why
him
I was
like
making sure.
no,
like-
he doesn't look like he's losing control at all. But he's very, very determined though.
Okay, can I do a quick check if using my stone working knowledge, if there's any kind of recent changes, or if there's anything that looks recent, damage wise to the castle?
So you want to sort of close in a little bit, farther into it. There's one sort of obvious kind of vantage point that you can get to, because the sort of rocks lead around. The walls sort of rise to a height of 30 feet, but they appear taller than that because the entire inner castle sits atop a rocky berm with these cliffs that are encircling it. It's a little bit like if you guys saw the Two Towers, and I know you all did, where you see a Rohan from a distance, that's kind of just like off on its own on a plain, sort of on top. That's sort of a little bit what this is like. So you would need to be able to get up to it. Most of the walls, as I said, are intact except for the eastern wall, and there is, in fact, an area like in the front that you could sort of, basically climb over more or less.
So our entrance ways are the gate and the eastern wall. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's yeah. So basically, right. So actually, it's more the best way. Actually, you could get into the eastern wall. Yes, that's one possibility. You could try to make your way into the main entrance, which is broken down, which is obviously designed to be the easiest for horses to be able to get into. Getting into the rubble, as a sort of other areas would be more difficult, but maybe possible. So you basically can decide which area you want to approach it from. The only place that looks like you probably would not be able to approach it from very easily would be the southern side of it. The southern side is just the walls are too high, the cliffs, you'd have to climb up it, and it's possible but very difficult. The best options are maybe eastern, maybe western through the rubble, or maybe from the north where the main entrance is.
All right, plan, guys. What should we go straight in through the front, or should we be more cautious and take the slower route around the side, the eastern wall?
I vote we come at them from the area they're not expecting us, so I would say the eastern wall.
Thing, Salil?
What? Guys?
Salil?
I'm here. I'm just kind of lost at the moment.
Too much herb.
Yeah.
Just getting late. I'm tired.
There's like 3 gates. Whoa.
3. Yeah, up to you guys how you want to go in.
So we have a choice of going through the front with the horses, or we can just go through the front on foot, or we can take a kind of like a side route through the south gate. Sorry, the east gate, wasn't it? East. Eastern wall.
Not a gate, eastern wall, right? I mean, there's rubble basically, so that's.
It's like a rubble path, which may be a little bit more stealthy, a little bit more cautious.
Well, I would think going in the front door would be not a good idea, and on horseback would be even worse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would just be way too obvious. And if anything happens, then we'd have to deal with getting off the horses and getting set up and all that stuff. We need to be ready for anything going down.
Okay.
Fing?
I'm good for the middle or the south. Sorry.
The
East.
south. You mean
Wait,
east or west?
what do we have?
So you've got
East
east,
of the wall.
east, west, or rubble, and north is
Oh.
sort of the opening gate. The south is probably not very accessible.
Okay, west. Sorry.
East.
What?
East.
Well,
east
west is possible too.
I mean, what do we know about like either direction though right now?
The only thing you know about it is just the rubble. That there's rubble sort of leading into the eastern wall and the western wall, and they all look to be about the same level of repair. The northern area is the main entrance. The south is probably pretty inaccessible, but you think you could make it through the rubble. It'd be, again, not easy, and you wouldn't be able to do it with the horses, but you could probably make your way up, and you'd have to see once you get closer, because obviously, you're sort of figuring this out as you're still a distance enough that you could decide if you want to go around from the north or not. So,
Yeah, I'm actually cool with just maybe exploring both and then seeing which one might be the better option.
Okay.
Like going around the east and then checking if we can go the south.
It's going to take a while, guys. It's already getting dark. I mean, either we camp here and hit it in the morning, or we can be out around in the dark.
I have a pretty handy dandy daylight spell.
It's about. It is right now about, roughly speaking, about 4 or so o'clock in the afternoon. But because it's winter, as you all know, in real life as well, it's getting dark pretty early. So you're still able to see it, but you'll need to get either up on it or camp here. Although it occurs to you, you're not 100% sure how comfortable you are camping in these. The whole place feels eerie. I mean, it's just, the whole place just feels like.
I mean, if that's the case, do you guys just
decay.
want to go north, or like main entrance?
I like the idea of going to the broken wall and kind of.
I'd like to explore like either or, see if we find
I
anything.
do a little bit of recon, but whenever things sun starts setting, double back and set up camp.
Yeah, so
Best method.
that's fine. So who is going to be doing? Are you all of you doing the reconnoitering? Some of you.
I'll go with I'm going. Should we split? One group go one way, one go the other.
We can take more damage that way.
They can only wipe out
I
one of
think
us that way.
Considering this area's reputation, it'd probably be our best bet to stick together.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
Trying to find a safe place to cache the horses for now, too.
Okay.
So they don't get, I don't know, drained or whatever. Turn into undead horses. Who knows what the heck happens?
Skeletal horses.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are gonna. Okay, so are you going to the east or the west first?
Which is closer?
From the way that you're approaching the east.
Well, might as well check out the nearest place first, don't you think?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So there's a couple things you notice. First of all, I mentioned that the walls seem to be mostly intact. It's deathly silent. You don't hear anything. And as you get closer, you see that several of the towers have gaping holes in them, and there are these piles of rubble. And it looks like you could maybe climb up through the rubble into, it looks like it may have poured over into the tower on the eastern side. So you think you might be able to get in that way. I mean, you don't know how high up, but the tower, as I said, is a little bit farther up as well. So, so one option available to you then is to go up through the rubble. Again, there's no way the horses will be able to do that. Or, of course, you haven't checked out the western side yet. But that's what you see. And it's basically the northeastern tower, I should say. There's also, the walls are connected on the southwestern side. In fact, let me see if I can, let me bring you guys over to that. In fact, give me a second.
All right.
Let me bring you over to where you are. Zoop. And let me zoom out a little bit here. Show you guys what you see.
Strike Ninja. That's actually how I feel right now with my horse and myself. It's like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy.
Ruh-roh.
Move a kiss in his horse Blaze.
Okay,
I'm gonna take up bow and arrow proficiency just so I can no scope.
360. Actually, it'd be a 420 no scope, right?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin around. Wait, so that'd be all the way around and then a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got still like a
but
rotary
it has to be
system.
geometrically precise, though. Let's be clear.
Yeah, you've got like a rotary system that's like on a band, so it's exactly
Stops
420
at
degrees.
420 degrees.
Yep.
And you literally just have a bow and arrows on the chair. Just
Oh my goodness. So I'm showing you as much as basically as you guys can see.
Okay.
So just bear with me for a moment.
I actually do still have my javelins. Hey,
Javelin.
it got us past a lot of the first part of the campaign.
That's true.
Yeah, oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah, the javelins were
Exceedingly, yes.
Javelins were clutch.
solid.
Okay, so that you guys can now see that, right? So basically that's the eastern wall, more or less, and you can see where the rubble kind of extends in. Now you can't really see much beyond that. It's not totally true. You can see a little more, like say.
And we're coming from up here. Is that
And right now you were coming from.
Oh.
You guys right now were coming
Sorry?
from around there.
okay.
Or wait, what?
Here.
There?
Yeah.
Do it again. I like the colors. All right. So what do we see from there? Can we actually get in? Can we climb this? Like how hard is that gonna be? And if we do agree to do this, what are we doing with the horses?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of.
We are going to eat them.
You're like, okay, there's no alternative, Donner Pass. You're like, we have plenty of food. Nope, sorry, we're not gonna make it. We have to.
Sorry, Blaze, because I can speak with him. Is probably just like, yes, I know, I will be.
Dude.
You promised me you wouldn't do it with the munchies.
It's okay. I will be delicious.
Can we see any kind of? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, Cade, would with your agility, would you be able to like climb up there, scout it out, like before all of us?
Of course I could. Will I?
Do you want a rope?
He's already got one. He's
I
like
have
the
my
road
own.
master.
Yeah, exactly. It never comes. It never works the way I want it to. But yes, I have a rope.
I am the rope master.
Can we see any lights emanating from the castle or anything like that? Like any kind of activity?
You do not see or hear any activity from here, nor do you hear any or see any light emanating from it. No. It looks to be long deserted and dead. Now, you don't know obviously until you get in there, but you don't see anything at the moment.
So what? Am I being requested to go check out the east tower? Is that what I'm hearing? Or the northeast tower?
I think we wait at the bottom and then Cade goes up. And how long do you think it would take for Cade to get up?
So getting over the rubble and up is probably a good 40-50 foot climb. So through sort of the rough stone, he certainly will be able to do it, but it won't be like super fast, but it's not going to be like hours. I mean, it would, take a few minutes to kind of, get.
Oh wait,
5 minutes.
wait. Would I be able to where is it? Be able to airwalk up there? Can I?
So I think you have to remind me. I don't know whether airwalk is just 5 feet above, like. What does airwalk do? Is it just 5 feet above the ground, like hovercraft
No.
style?
That's its range. Like I think I can just go up. It's for an hour. Target can move in air for 1 hour.
Right, but how high though?
It's just basically my speed is cut in half if I'm moving up.
But you can keep going up.
I believe so.
You can just like climb into the air completely.
Also, if it's windy, he can't.
But if that's the only thing holding me up after that hour, obviously I drop. So
right. Yeah. I mean, you okay. Well, then in that case, you could certainly do that.
Would it take me longer than an hour to get up? And get back down?
No.
Okay.
No,
I'm going to cast that, and I'm going to float.
It also
myself
make you a
up there.
tremendous target, sort of like a blimp floating over the.
That's all right. I'm gonna try it out.
Just kidding. Okay, so you're going to try it out. All right, so you do that. You lift into the air, and actually, I have moved your characters.
Give him a
here.
rope as well before he goes up, just in case we need to get roped up there. It's probably a good idea.
Let me move you guys over here first of all. Let's see. Copy. Actually, are you guys able to? I guess you're not, are you?
You have to transfer the tokens over, or you can just make new ones.
Yeah, that's all right. I think that's you, right, Foam?
Yep.
Let me wait a second. I accidentally.
Where'd he go?
I sized you too small. It's like, and you disappear into nothingness because okay.
Airwalk. I airwalked forever, and people still say to this day that they can see him up there. still airwalking.
The legend of
Except
Finn.
there's like a smoke trail. So anytime you see a smoke trail, it could be him.
Legend of Fing, the Airwalker. Give me a second while I place everyone else. All right, there's Genie.
One sec.
I wish you could do like a mass copy and paste. Let them do everyone step by step, but paste. And I'm gonna have to. These things may have to be resized slightly for appropriateness. Let's see. Okay. And I have to bring Inam over. Inam is drawn inexorably against his will. There. Let's see. I need to bring Cade over. There's Cade, who always reminds me of Elf from Gauntlet when I see him. Elf, shot the food. Okay.
Again, yeah, I was always Elf. There was a lot of that.
Yep.
Elf shoots everything. It's what he does.
I often do the wizard. There, you see?
Wizard needs a potion. Boom, Elf shot it.
Don't shoot potions. I love it. The guy was like, don't shoot potions. Oh, man.
Wasn't it back in the day, though, if you shot one, it would clear the room?
No, but it would clear a radius around it, but it wasn't as effective as actually using it.
Okay.
I don't remember why that was. Okay, you guys can actually now, I think that's all of them, and you guys can resize as you like.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Resize to normal. Like, all of a sudden you're like, Cade's like, I am a giant in my wrath, and I
am a god.
Oh my god, the worst super friend ever. His only ability, Apache Chief, is just get bigger. Enoch Chuck! Like, that's all he does. He doesn't get stronger, he's just bigger. Like, less portable.
All right, so where am I? I'm hovering over here somewhere.
So yes, so you are right. So you're hovering over there, and as you sort of are hovering over there, you notice a couple things. First of all, this semicircular room that you're looking into, which I'll reveal a little bit of more now, is gutted by fire and open to the sky. High above you, or I shouldn't say that, below you actually, are burnt rafters and the charred remains of the roof. So you're kind of seeing like through the hole, and like there's a roof above it, obviously, but you're seeing sort of the area into it. And there's a 5-foot wide ledge which hugs the curved outer wall beneath a row of arrow slits with stairs leading down to the central part of the room. Charred furniture and roof debris fills the room, but you don't actually know. I mean, there may be other stuff down there. It's getting kind of hard to see at this point, so because it's dark, getting darker. So you don't entirely know what else is there. So I'll reveal a little bit more of the room that you see. Like so.
Okay. So it is dark enough where I can't see the bottom of this or what's going on down there?
Right. Not enough that you can, I mean, like, you can make out that there's some, like, furniture and maybe objects and things like that. But also, it's not like you can get a perfect bird's eye view because there's actually a roof above this. This is a cutaway view. So you're sort of looking through a hole down, down at it as well.
From what I've seen of, how I got up here, what's underneath, how hard would it be for everybody else to get up here? Would that be a safe situation to get into the spot?
Yes, you think they'd be able to do it. Again, horses no, but you definitely think they'd be able to get in, yes. Istival might have a harder time because of his, he's obviously got the leg brace and all that, and he's got the limp, but you think Istival has got the strength to be able to manage it.
Okay. I'll come back down, kind of explain the situation to everybody, and kind of remind everybody that it is getting dark, so we should probably make a choice. I don't assume we'd have time to really explore anything else at this point before
nightfall?
Before nightfall, yep.
Okay. So, yes, that's basically true. The sun is set and the light is fading quickly. So, where do you guys want to make camp? Or do you want to just wander in the castle and make camp there?
No, we're not. I don't think we should go inside the castle walls. We can't.
Do we maybe just make camp here outside the entrance and wait for morning?
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to guard if we need. I can totally guard all night.
Well, Dom, you and I can both guard. So
yeah. So can Samil.
That's true. So.
Okay, so you guys are So I'm sorry. So you're gonna like be inside the room, or you can't, or where?
No, we're gonna camp outside. on the plain near the castle wall. I just don't think it's a good idea to camp inside unless we actually
All right.
have to.
Okay.
So,
All right, that sounds good. So you guys do that. You were able to hold on just a second. Let me check something. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. So you guys make camp. And let me see. Okay. So the night passes without incident. Although, as I say, the people who are guarding feel very uneasy. There's no, you don't see a ghost. No banshee shows up. You don't have a white that rises from the ground. You don't hear any dragon crying. There's none of that sound. It just something feels vaguely just ominous about the place, and maybe it's just the sort of, pardon me, the bad juju of the place. Like it's got this sort of weird vibe, for certain that
could I use like forbidden or religious lore to like maybe, I don't know, get a hint on what this is, like the feeling, the whatever.
Yeah, it's you could try if you want, except it's not anything that's really palpable. It's more just sort of like, there's not a lot of laughing obviously going on, but there's also just sort of, even Isabel seems faintly uneasy.
So it wouldn't be worth checking if it was something specific.
Probably not. I mean, it's a little bit like, being on the battlefield after the battle's already been fought, but this has also got the history behind it as well.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So passes essentially without incident, despite what I've just described. And hold on a second.
Now, do we get full rest out of that? Would that be assumed?
Yes. So you guys are able to get a full rest, and get back any spells or anything like that was used. So you guys are able to put it all back together. And the next day dawns cold. The sort of cold sun rises, and it was pretty cold, by the way. You had to set a sort of small campfire, but still was not super comfortable. And you wake up the next day a little stiff and sore, but somewhat rested anyway. And as the sort of light begins to rise, Istival, who apparently has already been up before you, says, all right, my friends, the time has come. How do we get in?
Well,
going up here.
Yep, we're gonna take the rock wall, or the collapsed rock.
Yeah,
wall.
We're not gonna check anything else. We're good.
I think so. I don't see why we have to go anywhere else. Yeah,
Right.
Reasonable.
Okay. So he sort of looks at the rubble and kind of looks up and then says, all right, I'll do what I can. And so you guys leave the horses in the camp. Istival says they're smart enough to get away from trouble if they need to. And
Exactly.
And you head to the rubble.
I'm also going to assist Istival just because of his leg, help him up.
So he sort of is like, no. Istival appreciates you being like behind him perhaps, but he's not, like, you actually make sort of the gestures if you're going to help him, and he's kind of like, no.
Wait, did you say we got a full rest out of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Fang, can you cast that airwalk spell on someone else?
Yep.
Could you cast it on Istival so he can walk up more easily instead of, no offense, Paladin, but making a lot of noise clambering over the rocks in your armor is going to be really loud?
Yep.
And it'll just be loud. He's going to walk up.
Let's do it. So I offer to do that.
Yeah. It's just going to be simpler all the way around.
Also have armor, and so does Samir.
Yeah,
I too may clang clang.
Yeah, but you're like, I don't know, 50 years younger and more spry and shit, so you can probably climb up to about too much difficulty.
He's like, I'm right here. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
just kidding.
I was using my inner thief voice for that.
What are you trying to say? Yeah. Then you realize you have no inner monologue. Your inner monologue is defeated.
Yeah.
No.
I was supposed to say that quietly.
Yes. No. He says. All right. As long as you're sure I'm not going to soar off into the sky.
I can't assure. I can't promise anything. But it should be safe.
Okay.
Statistically speaking, flying is the safest way to travel.
He sort of gives you a strange look, and then you cast a spell on him, and so he indeed sort of kind of steps up and over the stones with no difficulty, and he kind of clambers as it were, like climbs over the area and then back into the room as you guys clamber your way up, so you guys can move your tokens in there. It's not very easy going. It's definitely what you would classify as rough terrain in the old 4E method. Definitely difficult to get a purchase. You slip a couple times. It's not super loud. It's not like clank, 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 but there's definitely like rattling of rocks and pebbles and things like that as you go up. And yes, and as was mentioned before, again, there's this. As you're sort of looking down into it, there are these stairs that lead down to the central part of the room that you guys can see, and there's stairs on either side. So actually, Fing, that rubble you could slide down, or you could take the stairs down. It's up to you, like on the other side.
I'm gonna slide down it.
Okay, so you do. So as you guys get closer, you can see maybe a little bit more, also because it's, of course, daytime now. So you can see a little bit more, but you're going to need to place yourselves differently if you want to see more than that.
I'm just trying to get this understand. This is a room. We're not actually on top of the castle.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's a cutaway. So you're actually below the roof. So just to quickly kind of describe it again, it's this semicircular room. It's gutted by fire. It is partially open to the sky, but there's burnt rafters and the charred remains of the roof as well. Sort of over it, which kind of, so the light kind of filters down a little bit, like and sort of patchwork a bit. And then there's this 5-foot high ledge that hugs the curved outer wall beneath a row of arrow slits with stairs leading down to the central part of the room. And there's this charred furniture and debris that fills the room.
Are there any arrow slits? Like if I head up here, up to the top here, is there any arrow slits showing, like so I can see into the main
they look like
castle area?
The arrow
Yeah,
slits look like
those.
this.
Can I head up to one and
sure, go ahead and place your guy. Let me know where you are. Okay.
I'm gonna peer like at each one along until we get like a good picture of the area, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So you see the pile of rubble sort of on the other side of this again. That's kind of allowing you in, and some of this you can't quite make out entirely.
Yeah.
And then you've got something down here, which looks like another door, something like that. So we're like that. Okay. So you've got like that down there. So you can actually kind of see into it, and inside the area you see more rubble. There's definitely other buildings as well. As you look down, you can actually see what looks like a wall over here. Like the outside of some wall of like a building which is inside it. This is a pretty sizable castle, actually. So it looks like at the time it was a great fortress in its day. And Istival, kind of is muttering to himself as he kind of steps over and says, looks around and says, tactically this would be a nightmare to defend at this point.
I was thinking, Istival, if you would, while you still have the airwalk, to get onto the roof and have a scout. Like you could probably see everything from up on top.
I was like, Istival, airwalk your old ass up there. You're up there.
So he's able to get up part of the way, but part of the problem, of course, is that he says, I'm not a balloon. And you say part of the problem is that like there are still areas of like that are sort of like roof area that's kind of left there, but he can see a little bit.
Like, can we see if there's like a tower? Like, is there a tower? Like, if you zoom out a bit, is there like a tower here and then like a tower?
Hold on, I'll zoom out a bit in a minute.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes, definitely. There is a tower. Yes, definitely. There's definitely now. I can't show you the inside, because
I know what
you mean.
Things.
Yeah, but basically, you've got if you were to imagine, you'd see the outside of it. There's one. You've got like a tower here. You've got a tower right here.
Okay, I'll put some text there just so.
Okay. You've got a tower here, which looks like it looks similar to the one that you're in right at the moment. Tower here.
Scrolling all over the place. I'm zoomed in. I can't see anything. Okay. So now that I'm fully zoomed out, can you like just ping it for me again?
Sure.
I'm putting text where.
Cool.
Yeah, did the text go down? Oh, it got hidden by the.
Okay.
I didn't do anything.
You set up to the north as well.
No, because you got the GM walls, the fog of war stuff. I can't put anything where the fog of war is.
Oh wow!
So don't worry about it. But
but basically, so essentially, what you've got is you've got 6 towers around the outside. You've got smaller ones, 1 and 2, that are around the front entrance. It looks like right here, and then you've got larger ones like this one, like the same size as the one you're in. This one here, one here, one over to the left side, and another one directly opposite the one you're in. Again, all of those are the same size as the one you're in.
So it's a standard kind of evenly shaped
Yep,
castle where it's like a mirror
that's correct.
where one half is the same as the other half. Okay,
That
cool.
is correct. Yep.
All right, so I think we just head out and explore.
Okay.
Sounds-
Where are you guys heading?
Well, I'm going to head out here first. And
Or actually, did anybody
like-
want to explore? Like, is there anything in this room?
Oh, yeah, I was just going in there because, like, hey, there's a room and a door with a door that looks like it's,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in that
I'm
area that
in
you
there as
just
well.
walked into, Cade, this hall is strewn with burnt wood that fell from the ceiling 20 feet above. Through holes in the ceiling, you can see charred rafters crisscrossing a torched attic that's open to the sky. That's kind of the way that Istival was able to see, who, by the way, now floats down to the ground.
Yeah.
With that. 5 feet above the floor is a large hole in the western wall, and the chamber beyond is full of charred wreckage. So, and that's sort of chamber beyond is like more sort of like wood and stuff like that. Looks
So
like
wait, this door should be open? This door right here? Boop.
sorry, the door right there.
Yeah.
So it's sort of more or less open. You could sort of push your way through the rest of the way if you want.
Yeah, just to clear it.
Okay, and in there
Wait,
the
wait.
ceiling.
Damn it.
What?
Sorry, nothing. It was too quick. I was gonna go in there first since I'm more armored and whatnot.
Oh,
but
I
that's
see.
okay.
Yeah. He is
save me.
immediately eaten by Gru. And so no, the ceiling of this room is collapsed, filling the room with burnt timbers. Buried under this wreckage are shattered crates, and there is one other different thing, which is there's a human skeleton, Cade, that's clad in tattered leather armor, and it has a charred wooden spur sticking out of its rib cage.
That looked painful. Search the body real quick.
Okay. So you have to kind of clear away some rubble and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
after you're able to do that for a bit, you find the rotted remains of a backpack, of what's left of it, and maybe the broken remains of what might be like an oil flask, maybe.
Okay.
But otherwise, there's just sort of the backpack, and you're just searching his body, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's just sort of the backpack, and looks like there may be a few things inside the backpack.
Well, I'll open it.
Okay. Inside you find a frayed sort of 50-foot rope. And you find this
More
grappling.
rope. I love it.
It has a grappling hook on one end. You find